Hey, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Just checked out CM Punk's Raw return. If you feel like checking in, if you feel like making a comment, please do. I'll be here for as long as I need to express myself. And if some people come in, you can express yourself. So, the big news of the day, as we all know, folks, is that good old CM Punk has returned to WWE. Of course, we saw that on Saturday night um, at the Survivor Series. I did happen to watch in live time. One of my subscribers kind of told me he was watching. He said it was a good show. My buddy there, AJ Norris, who always checks in. So I did tune into the Survivor Series. I caught most of it live, and good main event. And then, of course, the big CM Punk thing. So we're all, sitting by and watch this CM Punk promo. Now, in full disclosure, I did not watch it in live time. I caught the replay on the good old fashioned YouTube, but I think I got the gist of it. I mean, I saw the whole thing, and there was no confrontation with any other wrestler. Uh, and you guys tell me, because this is what I did. I said, you know what? I'm not going to allow my opinion to be influenced by other people on YouTube, podcasting, Twitter, whatever. I just watched it, and now here I am with my initial thoughts. And quite frankly, everyone, I just thought it fell flat. It fell flat. Now, why would I say such a thing? Well, first of all, the positive on this CM Punk promo, his eloquence, his delivery as far as speech was very good. It did not look like he had a memorized script. It looked like he had some memorized bullet points, I guess you could call it. There was definitely things that he was there to say that he said that I'm sure was worked out, hashed out with WWE, with whoever's in charge of this whole catastrophe, Triple H or Vince or a combination or whoever, Bruce Pritchard. So there was definitely that WWE feeling, like get to the points. There was no real riffing like we've seen CM Punk do in the past, especially in the last couple of years with AEW. Good, bad, or indifferent. The crowd was polite. I think CM Punk might have thrown them off when he mentioned the Nashville Predators, but it did not feel to me, Scorpions fan 21, that this CM Punk promo was especially enthusiastic from the live crowd, and just feeling it at home, I didn't feel much. Am I wrong? I mean, you tell me. I mean, maybe people are just going to give him a pass because they're just happy to see him after almost 10 years. Let me see what Scorpions fans got to say here. Yo, Mikey, CM Punk was good. This was better promo than Rampage. He mentioned AJ Lee, not in AEW. He mentioned AJ Lee tonight on Raw, but not in AEW. So I think Punk wanted to be in AEW for the fans, but he hated AEW and waited for Vince and John to leave. Vince McMahon Jr. and John Laurinaitis, or Johnny Ace, the heads up to leave, to return. So you're saying that basically he waited for Vince McMahon Jr. to be out of power and John Laurinaitis to be gone. A couple of people that he had issues with, or they had issues with him throughout the years. Perhaps, but I mean, he also had issues with Triple H, which has been well documented. Like I said, if you go back, the best piece of business outside of a ring that I think CM Punk has done. I mean, I think the Mindy's Muffins thing after the AEW show with where he beat Moxley and that caused that whole backstage scrum, as they say. But I think his other thing with Chris Jericho, that I'm sorry, Colt Cabana, when he left the WWE back in 2015, it was he did the Colt Cabana podcast. So I like I said earlier today, I did a thing actually that was yesterday morning. I did my reaction video to CM Punk returning in general at the Survivor Series, and I said the thing with CM Punk is he's better when he's off the rails, like when he's angry in real life. That's when the fun comes. When he's doing, I don't think it was necessarily scripted, but I just think it was a very, and as I predicted on Facebook in the wrestling fans group, a castrated, a a homogenized CM Punk tonight. I mean, you tell me, folks. I mean, Yeah, he mentioned AJ Lee. Okay. He mentioned his wife, who's a former wrestler who apparently has a neck injury and she can't return to the ring anyway. So, yeah, okay. You mentioned AJ Lee. Fine. So what? I think the big thing missing here tonight, gentlemen, Scorpions fan, and anyone else that's watching, and feel free to comment more, Scorpions fan. I think what was missing was someone interrupting the promo. I think what was missing for me, at least, was some type of conflict or confrontation. I think they just kind of milked this, possibly just milking this for as long as they can. On Saturday night, here's a glimpse. Here's the music, here's the guy, doesn't go to the ring. Tonight, he goes to the ring, he does a promo, he says, I'm back a few times. I did think the most interesting line of dialogue that he said was at the end, which I don't think was necessarily on script either, but he said, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money, which is true. Scorpions fan says they made up when he was there backstage on Raw before returning to AEW after fight with the Elite. And I think he loved WWE and he wanted to show how great he wanted to be back. I think he just loves the money, to be honest with you. I mean, if you listen to, like I said, listen to that Colt Cabana thing. Um, does he love the idea of what WWE was supposed to be? Does he love the idea? I mean, look, he's a mark for himself, like all these wrestlers are. So I'm sure that he'd love to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And what we're probably going to build to is a night one main event, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, WrestleMania night one. I think I could be wrong, but I still say that Roman Reigns is going to, hold this title to beat the Bruno record. I don't necessarily think they'd sacrifice CM Punk year one out of the gate. I mean, if they're going to have CM Punk for 2 or 3 years, why sacrifice him right away? Why not wait for the sacrifice on the pedestal of the Romans? So I think what I'll just guess I'll throw a early WrestleMania, main event prediction in here. Night one WrestleMania main event in Philadelphia, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for that title, whatever that fucking title is. And night two, Roman Reigns beats Cody again. Seth and CM Punk is coming. Yeah, definitely. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm in agreement here. Let's see. You said is better promo than Rampage. Okay, I want to go back to your earlier comment. So you're talking about the initial CM Punk AEW on the what was it, the second episode of Rampage? Was that it? Well, look, I might disagree with you. I think look, anytime a guy is gone, at that point he was gone for about 8 years, 7 years, I guess. I think that was more powerful. It was more organic. It was in Chicago. I think one thing tonight, and I think this might be AJ watching with me here, is it might just be a Chicago thing. Like when CM Punk is in Chicago, that's when the real magic happens. And Nashville, it seemed to me that they were sitting on their hands. They were polite. They weren't really booing him, but it just seemed like the crowd wasn't that into it, and I wasn't that into it. So you're saying that they made up backstage. I guess you're talking about Triple H and CM Punk. That's fine. We talked about that. And you love Drew McIntyre. He's one of the best talents right now. I think he's staying in WWE because face and heel, he is doing good. Well, look, here's the thing. You know, Dolph Ziggler stayed in WWE forever. A lot of these guys just get comfortable. You got to remember, WWE for the pro wrestlers, and they do have a tough career. I pick on them sometimes because I don't think the wrestlers of today are made of the same quality as the guys 20, 30, 40 years ago. The Harley Races, the Tully Blanchards, etc., the Ric Flairs. But to me, Drew McIntyre keeps himself in great shape. He's got a great look. I think the biggest thing that's hurt him is this dependence on a sword. If you're a big pro wrestler, 320 pounds of muscle, well, how tall is Drew? 6'7", 6'8". Looks like a Greek god, right? Why does he need a sword? I mean, the sword makes him weaker, to be honest with you. It's like, okay, I'm 6'8", 320 pounds, and I need to carry swords. Yeah, you're emasculating this guy by doing that, but they're just not intelligent enough to realize that. Yeah, he is a great talent. I mean, do you think this heel thing? I did see the headbutt thing. One of my Facebook friends there, Haven Rain, she liked the headbutt. I mean, the headbutt was interesting. We did see Drew juice a little bit of blood. I think that was a hard way. Uh, but I mean, fine. Drew McIntyre, uh, Jey Uso, and Seth freaking Rollins in some type of 3-man feud for the title. Okay, fine, whatever. It just looks like stuff, just kill time stuff. Just stuff to kill time. You can see that I'm not too enthusiastic. I mean, I guess my main point tonight is that I thought that the CM Punk promo fell flat. And I know that gentlemen like Lou Thez will be on here. He'll probably see this video at some point, and he'll probably agree with me. And I mean, I just didn't feel like he was fire or whatever the fuck the kids say. I just didn't feel it, to be honest with you. Mikey Gunther has my respect. He's not getting heel heat. He has old fashioned heel. That's good, and he doesn't cheat like heel of today. I think the heels of today. He will be a top level champion. You might say that he already is. Gunther versus Roman or Seth, he will beat them. Well, okay. Let's take on this side topic. So you're saying that when he will be the top level champion, meaning the Roman title or the Seth title. I mean, I don't even know what to call these goddamn WWE supposed world titles anymore. Because look, if you've got two world champions, you've got no world champions. I mean, remember that year that the NFL had two Super Bowl winners? I don't. Remember that year that they gave two Best Pictures at the Oscars? You know, hey, let's give a Titanic and let's give it to Goodwill Hunting in the same year. That didn't happen. Remember when we had Donald Trump and Joe Biden were both president of the United States? I don't remember that. So the point is, there are some things in this goddamn world that are supposed to be one and only one. Okay, Highlander, there can be only one. So you're telling me that uh, fucking asshole Roman Reigns is your undisputed WWE undisputed whatever the fuck Universal World Champion, but yet somehow there's another world champion in your same company, which is Seth freaking Rollins. Well, if there's two world champions, then I would say that there is a dispute. So how can Roman Reigns call himself or they call him the undisputed WWE champion when in fact in his own goddamn company there's another person claiming to be world champion? The answer is that they're a bunch of goddamn idiots, and we're pretty much idiots for watching this horse shit. But in any event, Gunther, yeah, he had a nice match against the Miz. It's good. I mean, Gunther puts on good matches. Yeah, they're enjoyable matches. So we'll see what happens, buddy. I mean, it's fine. What else you got there, buddy? Mikey, what do you think of Ric Flair and AEW? I think it's a business thing. Is he going to wrestle? Why nobody wants that? He needs to go away. I just think it's look, Tony Khan's an old time wrestling fan. Tony Khan's about what, 42, 43 years old, and he honors the past. He had Greg Valentine in the audience when they were promoting the CM Punk MJF dog collar match. Actually, before that, I think the Cody, Luke Harper or Brody Lee dog collar match. Okay. So I think Tony Khan is just a wrestling fan. He gives a derelict like Jake the Snake Roberts with his colostomy bag, he gives him a job. So Tony Khan's just a very generous guy with his father's money. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you have that rich friend who always buys you dinner and you just keep letting him buy because it doesn't hurt Tony. Okay. So, he gives Ric Flair this fucking promotional deal for his energy drink or his marijuana, whatever the hell it is. And it's just because Tony Khan likes hanging out with the wrestlers, whether they're old school wrestlers, new school wrestlers, guys who hit big in Japan. I'm surprised he didn't give those. Who are those two? Oh, they're back in WWE. The AJ. God, what's the guy's name? AJ Styles' buddy, the guy with the hot Asian wife, and the guy that used to be Bubba the Love Sponge or Festus, or whatever the fuck. That tag team that is terribly boring in my book. I'm surprised that Tony never hired them. I think they did make a few appearances on AEW Dynamite. They were with Impact. Harper and whatever the fuck their name. You know who I'm talking about. The bald guy and the other bald guy, Festus and the other asshole. I'm surprised that Tony just didn't hire them for life because Tony likes hanging out with the wrestlers and they're big in Japan. Mikey, I don't like the Tony Storm gimmick. I'm not feeling anything. She's not Marilyn Monroe, and it's cheap copy of it. She's trying to be her. I agree, buddy. I mean, I do like watching. I probably like that routine more than you do, just because as a award-winning filmmaker myself, I can appreciate the tip of the hat to nostalgia in film. And Tony Storm is attractive. I mean, she's pretty. Is she the world's greatest wrestler? No. You know what I mean? But she's doing something different, which I think is good. And hey, folks, just so you know, I'm not singing a song about how great AEW is right now either. I mean, if you see in the background what I chose to show you tonight, the Taz Sabu photo that I took myself, I'm going old school with that. You know, what AEW, that Texas Death Match was pretty interesting. But I'm not going to lie to you and say that everything that AEW is making my boat float either. And there's a lot of this stuff going on Facebook and the social media, just as I goddamn well predicted when I made a video years ago about the NXT and the AEW face off on Wednesday nights. I said a wrestling war was coming, and I said it's time to pick sides. And people said, "Oh, you don't have to pick sides. Love all wrestling." Well, no, you pick a side, okay? So I mean, it is what it is. What else you got there, buddy? Give me some more thoughts here. Randy Orton, God damn it, Randy Orton looked good. I am a fan of his. He's better than his father, and he's a good talent. He definitely has more. And look, I can kind of speak from authority. I didn't see all of Cowboy Bob Orton's career. I didn't see any of his father's career, meaning the original Bob Orton. Okay, so Randy's grandfather. There's also, did you know that Randy had an uncle, Barry O, who actually was one of the people that was on the Donahue show in 1992 claiming sexual harassment from the WWE. So, I mean, that's just a little side story that gets ignored. That Randy Orton's not only did his father wrestle, but his grandfather wrestled, and his uncle, who more or less got himself blackballed because he didn't want to play grab ass with some of the WWE people at the time. So you can look into that. You can find the Donahue Show from 1992. I'm not making this up. This is all on the record. Okay. But basically, I am going to agree with you. I'm going to say that Randy Orton is a smoother wrestler than his father was. His father was a great talent. Don't get me wrong, but I think Randy was a main event guy. His father was like an upper mid card level guy. I mean, the biggest thing that his dad did was really being the henchman to Roddy Piper. I think ironically at the time, I think that Cowboy Bob Orton would actually do better these days uh, than he did, in his time in the mid 80s and the late 70s and so forth. But if you want to see a great Cowboy Bob Orton match, I'll give you two recommendations. If you find the original Starcade 83, there's a tag team match, Dick Slater and Cowboy Bob Orton versus Wahoo McDaniel and Mark Youngblood. That's a great tag team match from Starcade 83. It's on the undercard. I think it's the third match on the show. And if you want to see a really great singles match, I haven't seen this match in years, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's somewhere on YouTube. I think it is. Hulk Hogan against Cowboy Bob Orton, I believe, on an All Star Wrestling, maybe the first ever episode of, or I think it was All American Wrestling on the USA Network. Hulk Hogan defending against Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. for the WWF World Heavyweight Title sometime, I think, around May of 1984, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they also had a match at a Saturday Night's Main Event, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I mean, I'm always so not mistaken, but I believe. Did Hogan wrestle Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. at the first ever Saturday Night's Main Event? Perhaps, but in any event, I think that's true. I think he did. I think the first ever Saturday Night's Main Event was Hulk Hogan versus Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. I'm going way back in the memories, folks. But I'm telling you, Cowboy Bob could wrestle, but he didn't have the charisma, the intensity, the rugged good looks of his son. Ryback sucks. He's all talk. He was going to retire from wrestling if Punk returned, and then he changed it to retire if Punk lasts longer in WWE. Ryback needs to shut up. I think people hate him more than Punk. Well, I mean, isn't that an accomplishment though? I mean, if you can elicit a reaction, I mean, by the logic of bringing back CM Punk, who was a disturber, and the same logic that the WWE had when they brought in Jim Cornette to induct the Rock and Roll Express into the WWE Hall of Fame, I mean, if the definition of being a great talent or a great worker is to upset people, why not put CM Ryback back in the ring in WWE? So I mean, if Ryback's getting all this attention because he didn't retire when he said he would, doesn't that make him all the more desirable for someone? And look, I'm not the biggest Ryback in ring fan, but I have watched quite a bit of Ryback's, um, you know, YouTube stuff, and I'm a fan of that. I think Ryback's kind of a nice guy. I think he's a misunderstood guy. I think he's a guy who's been screwed over by WWE, and he's pissy about it. Is Ryback stiff and not safe in the ring? I can't really determine that. I know that CM Punk seems to think so, or at least he did. Mikey, rumors that Sasha Banks coming back because of Bailey, and she might go to AEW as well. Uh, you know, I mean, look, here's the thing. Sasha or Mercedes Monet had a definite foot injury. A friend of mine, my buddy Tommy DiNucci over on the And Action podcast, he actually directed Mercedes in a film last year. I believe it's called The Collective. And he said she was a real pleasure to work with. So that's nice. We'll see. I mean, at some point, how many talents can you have where it starts to have a declining effect? I mean, let's go back to the CM Punk thing for a second. Where does this leave Cody? I mean, it's just like, where does this leave LA Knight? Where's LA Knight in all this madness? You said you like Drew McIntyre so much. I mean, where do all these top guys go? I mean, you can only have so many main events. If you listen to that UFC guy recently had that quote where he said, whether we have 300 talents in UFC or 50, we can only really have 10 main event people because the fans can only really think about 10 main event people at a time. I mean, and I think that's true. I mean, there's so many belts in the UFC, so many weight divisions. I lose track of who's a champion. And with WWE, you know what I mean? Who the hell are the tag team champions in WWE right now? Yeah, I mean, for a minute it was Cody and whoever the fuck, Sami Zayn. I don't know who the tag team champions are. Is it Jey Uso, or is it Jimmy Uso and the other guy, the Samoan guy? I don't know. You tell me who the tag champs are. I can't tell you. Who's the U.S. champion? I mean, I don't know. I know that Gunther's the Intercontinental Champion. Who's the WWE US Champion? I'm tired, but I just can't goddamn remember. Let's see, buddy. Mikey, New Day sucks. Gimmick is watered down. Break up Kofi and Woods on their own. Well, yeah. And what's the deal with our buddy there, Easy E or Big E? Is he still got the hurt neck? Is he ever going to wrestle again? Yeah. I mean, I don't. The New Day is very 2015 to me. They were a team that really got over when a lot of stuff wasn't getting over. So we do give them credit, but I think, I kind of think that the whole New Day thing kind of died when Kofi ate that pin in 9 seconds from Brock Lesnar. And, Big E lost his title to Brock Lesnar. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like something they did, but they didn't really get behind it. Judgment Day tag Logan Paul, U.S. champion. Good memory. He beat Rey Mysterio in Saudi. Roman's the WWE champion and Seth world champion. Well, there you go, buddy. I mean, who's the world champion? Is it Seth or Roman? And I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but it's just one world champion. That's what Kerry Von Erich used to say. I did see, Scorpions fan. I did see for the second time tonight the Von Erichs movie preview. I wish the movie was just called Von Erich, but it's called The Iron Claw. They are looking for Oscars for this thing. It's being released, I believe, on Christmas Day or Christmas week at least. So the preview is really good, and there's a moment in the preview where the character of Kerry Von Erich is going out to Texas Stadium, and he has the in memory of David robe on, and that really gives me the feels, so to speak. I will say this: I do think the casting might be a little bit off on this. The gentleman, this is just based on a 2.5 minute preview or a trailer. The guy playing Kerry Von Erich looks like he's the smallest. Like he's smaller than Zach Efron playing Kevin. Um, and he does look like a really good actor, but he does not have the build of Kerry Von Erich. The guy looks like he's about 190 pounds. And I just think that for wrestling fans, we're going to hold this movie accountable. I did see a little picture today of the Lance Von Erich as played by MJF with the wig, which was fine. I just kind of, to be honest with you, I don't know. I think that the wrestling fans will have to just, I guess we'll just have to get over it that it's a movie. But, Kerry Von Erich was pretty jacked up. And I think that this actor, although he has a very sad and kind of poetic face, I just don't know if this was great casting. I think the actor probably did a hell of a job, but I just don't know if that physical difference. I mean, the guy is really fucking tiny. If I'm seeing this trailer right, the guy that's playing David looks pretty accurate, but I don't know. The Carey guy just looks really undersized, and I think that might be an issue. But he does look like he's doing a good job with the acting. He just looks small. So let's see, buddy. Mike, remember Doink and Dink? Oh yeah, of course. Worst gimmick and Bastion Booger. It's funny, buddy, because Dink apparently is from Florida. He also, God, what was his name? Oh, Jesus H. I don't want to say it. Can I say midget wrestler? He's a wrestler from Florida. What the hell was his name? Oh God, he used the name of he was from Tiger Jackson from Jacksonville. So yeah, I was going to say the name of a city, but he's from this city. So Tiger Jackson was actually Dink, I believe. I think they were over on the Monty and Pharaoh show, uh, the Phil Apollo Doink. So I mean, we know that there was Matt Bourne was the original and best Doink. I believe the two substitutes or the two replacements were Steve Kern, who was the one at the WrestleMania 9, and then later Phil Apollo, who was or Phil or Ray Apollo, was a guy from the Kowalski School in New England. Watched WWE for a long time. I hated the Big Show and Big Boss Man. Dad funeral was horrible skit. I knew it would offend us and angry, just not a good move. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I mean, I remember that. I remember the Boss Man chasing, like driving off in the Hertz or whatever, and the coffin was being dragged. Um, it was interesting because they were trying to push the Big Boss Man as like a world championship contender after he had already been in WCW. It had been like great trailer and was, one of those many NWO guys that really didn't amount to anything. So I think it was interesting that they gave the Big Boss Man sort of a main event push. Although, if you really think about it, Triple H was kind of still the main event guy, even after he lost the title to the Big Show. And the first time that the Big Show won that WWE title, I believe, it's because he won it as a babyface. Because that was the night that Steve Austin was injured, and they went into the pay per view knowing that Steve Austin was injured, but they had like they did storyline shtick to take Austin out of the main event. The fans, I'm sure, were disappointed. They thought they were going to see Austin because that's what was promoted. So what they did was a make good, which is to give them a world title change. They had Big Show beat Triple H, if I'm remembering that correctly. I remember where I was watching that pay per view. I don't know if that was like a Survivor Series or a whatever the fuck, or October pay per view of would that be 99? I think. But in any event, yeah, the Big Show. One of my first videos online, buddy, about wrestling was how they ruined the Big Show's career. If you dig back to like 2017, you can find that I had a really interesting hair day that day, and I did this video. I think in the Cult of Kayfabe group before I got kicked out of there, just basically saying how the WWE, destroyed Paul White's career. Mikey, Creed brother are this generation Steiner brothers. They are good and fun to watch. I hope get tag championship. Well, I got to be honest with you. I have been going to these NXT shows. I don't think that when I've gone to these NXT shows, the Creed brothers were there, unless I'm totally forgetting them. If I'm forgetting them, that's a bad sign. They did have at the NXT shows just a few weeks ago that I went to. They had the Olympic guy, Gabe Stevenson or Gable Stevenson, whatever the hell his name is. Big guy, like he's a big, scary dude who looks like the frame of a football player, like a linebacker, but he's got ripped abs and everything. So Gable Stevenson, certainly a physical force. The Creed brothers, I guess I'll just have to watch. I just have to watch this and find out for myself. I do trust your opinion on it, buddy. But you know me, I always like to see things with my own two eyes. But going back, man, I think I'll start wrapping up. You any more comments? Get them up in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I just felt like CM Punk fell flat tonight. I said it once. I said it a million fucking times in this thing. I felt like maybe it was the Nashville thing. Maybe bringing up hockey wasn't like that's kind of a swarmy, like, what do you call it, AEW thing to do. You know what I mean? I don't think the fans were with that, and I think he kind of shot himself in the foot. And I just don't think there was anything exciting. If they were going to push some type of storyline with Drew or Seth or something, it reminds me of when Triple H came back after that Royal, like at the before the Royal Rumble. I guess it was it 2001 or 2000. I guess probably 2002, right? When Triple H came back from the quad injury. So I guess it's January of 2003. Triple H comes back as a babyface, if I'm remembering this correctly, or actually it was January of 2002. So Triple H comes back to announce that he's entering the goddamned Royal Rumble. And before he could say a word, or maybe he said a few words, or the fans were just cheering for Triple H, he was all jacked up to the gills. Kurt Angle comes out. And so I think that was kind of what we needed tonight. Like, don't let us have just some boring run of the mill CM Punk, I'm back fucking promo. Have a guy come out, like maybe a Miz, like, or just someone that you wouldn't expect, like some other asshole. What an opportunity to throw that Australian Logan Paul ripoff guy, or even Logan Paul. I mean, Logan Paul CM Punk might have been interesting. Deadline NXT next month. I'm excited. Baron Corbin versus Dragunov. NXT Championship. Okay. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I was there a few weeks ago. Baron Corbin made an unexpected surprise at an NXT house show. He actually got a big pop. I think people were just happy to see a big name guy. Look, man, I don't know about Baron Corbin. I mean, he's one of these guys that was just always pushed, once again, in kind of that really bad era of WWE, which wasn't that long ago. 2014, 2015, 16, 17, really like 16, 17, 18 were really bad years for the WWE. I don't want to miss your thing. Cora Jade. See, I get these two girls mixed up, but Cora Jade, and I think she's still doing the NXT house shows. And who is the other one? The other really, this Cora Jade's really pretty, and there's another one with the nice big eyes. There's two of them there that look very similar, uh, but I don't think it's Cora Jade. It's another one with like a nice big smile. I'm trying to think of what the hell I'm thinking of. They're very cute little brunettes. So I mean, and I think that they will hit it big. In the WWE main roster, because they really are something to see. So it says like Cora Jade here is inactive online. It says I'm not sure why. I know that I have seen her at these NXT shows, maybe not recently. Um, God in heaven, I'm just trying to find the name. Who's the prodigy? Is that Cora Jade or is that someone else? Um, Roxanne Perez is who I'm thinking of. So yeah, so Cora Jade, very, she and Roxanne Perez kind of remind me of each other. Nikita Lyons, I guess she's injured. Cora Jade is inactive. We're not really sure why. Mari Miller is injured. Jakara Jackson's injured. JC Jane's actually one of my favorites. I think she's about due for a full-time call-up. You know what I mean? I'm not sure why they haven't brought her up on a full-time level. But let's see here, buddy. Yeah, so you get that title match to look forward to. Mikey, did you see Hangman versus Swerve match? I actually did. Was the blood split, was it as bad as reported? People walked out. I don't know if, I mean, look, if I paid my hard-earned money, as they always say, to go to this AEW pay-per-view, I wouldn't have walked out. You know what I mean? But that's just me. If you've taken my money, I'm going to stick around. If you want to go to the hot dog stand or go to the restroom because the match is too hard, then that's fine. But in any event, I didn't see the match. It was pretty gory, and I mean, I wouldn't put another man's blood in my mouth. But once again, these are wrestlers. I mean, if you've ever been to one of these house shows where the wrestlers, like one wrestler will spit his blood to split his gum to the floor, and the other one will go get it and put it in his mouth. Chase U is bland. Andrew Chase is boring. Matt Stryker, Rio ripoff. Yeah, man, I hear you. I mean, is Andrew Chase the leader of that group? Is he the guy? Because I'm actually, if he's the leader of Chase University, the one with the sweater, I guess I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of a fan of his. Okay. So he when I watched him wrestle live, he was getting like a lot of these main events at these NXT shows. He has a very unique style. I think I've talked about this on the phone with people, but I haven't had a video about it. I'm actually a fan of his. I don't know if it's translating what he can do at a house show to what he can do in the ring. I think the thing with going back to your buddy there, Cora Jade, I think it's she basically had breast implants added. Okay, so I think that might be the reason why they're not saying she's injured, but yeah, she had the implants done, the old Vince and Johnny special, right? So I mean, she had some work done to enhance her look, as they say, in the creeps that are the WWE. So, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. What else you got? Lexi King attacking Trick William, not Carmelo. Yeah, I mean, I saw Pillman Jr. or Lexi King do some nice matches. Chance Barrow does the ring name Andrew Chase, the leader of Chase University, born April 22nd, 1989. He's 34 years old from Eden, North Carolina. He wrestled as Harlem Bravado. He's 6'2", 222 pounds, trained by Delirious. Interesting. I don't want to go down this whole thing. Uh, the Bravado brothers. He was in the TNA briefly. Um, so yeah, you know what I mean. So I guess I'm a fan. I don't know what else to tell you. I think he's kind of interesting. Yeah, Lexi King, Pillman Jr. We have a Facebook user. Hi, how you doing? If you have any comments or questions about the world of pro wrestling, we're just comparing some notes here. Let's see what you got. Ricochet is underrated superstar. Well, yeah, and look, I'm not going to argue with you on that, but I would say who's doing the ratings? You know, if you say he's underrated, I mean, you could say that he's underappreciated. I'm doing quite fine. I don't know if this is my buddy Carl or if this is someone else. If you want to identify yourself, I'm just getting Facebook user up here, but I'm fine. I'm a little bit tired. I mean, we've been talking about this CM Punk return. I say it fell flat. I don't think that it was very interesting. I think he just kind of went through the motions. I think the most interesting line and the big conceit was, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. At the very end of the promo, what he said off camera, or not off microphone, but on camera, I just didn't feel it. I just thought that, everything that CM Punk said tonight, we heard him say it, 2 years ago on that second Rampage episode. So I'm not a fan of what we saw tonight. I just think it was flat. Doesn't mean that CM Punk's, final journey here in wrestling that we think probably at age 45 or 46, he could definitely have a good run. I'm sure they're going to put him in there with Seth and everything. Mikey, what was wrong with Cena's last run? I felt it was flat and boring. That's how I felt about CM Punk's promo. But Cena, I think part of it, buddy, is we just kind of know. I mean, if you know, you know. CM Punk is doing the WWE thing, or he was, a couple of months ago, because the Screen Actors Guild was on strike. The Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA, the union basically of actors of which CM Punk is in. Well, when they were on strike, he did some non-union work as a wrestler, and there's nothing technically illegal about what CM Punk did. I'm not sorry, not Punk, fucking Cena. He did what he wanted to do. He graced us with his presence. But I mean, I think they said it on a WWE broadcast recently. I think when he was wrestling his most recent match, that Michael Cole said that CM Punk has lost like his last 8 or 9 wrestling matches in WWE. He singles matches. He did win that tag team match. Him and what's his dick? Was it him and Kevin Owens beat Sammy and Rowan going back to December of 2022? Like the last SmackDown of whatever the fuck year it was. Hey, Carl, I figured it was you, buddy. How you doing, pal? Yeah. Carl's a Chicago guy. Carl, did you see the promo tonight of CM Punk? I thought it should have been in Chicago because the Nashville crowd, I don't know if it was because he mentioned hockey or whatever, but it just seemed like the crowd did not care that much. Natty's time's up in WWE. Oh, she's horrible. Uh, is she there? Well, good point, buddy. Is she a guilt hire? Basically, like, does she still keep her job because they feel guilty that Tyson Kidd got injured in a WWE ring at the hands of Samoa Joe and the Muscle Buster, which I still don't know why they allow people to do the Muscle Buster after the Tyson Kidd thing. Tyson Kidd's a nice guy. I used to Facebook with him. Yes, it's Carl. Very good. So I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I mean, Natty is boring. I mean, the most interesting thing she does is with her sister when they do kind of this weird incestual lesbian sister porn, PG porn, whatever you want to call it, where they're groping themselves and touching their bosoms and all that good stuff, and people get all hot and bothered by it. It's really a sick society that we're in. Okay, you know what I mean? But in any event, Natty, I'm not a big fan. I have a good friend, my buddy Chris Anino is a big fan of hers. I'm not a big fan. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think she's evil. She just doesn't appeal to me. She just has been there for so long. She's never gone anywhere else. I mean, she goes back to the Beth Phoenix days, like the original run of Beth Phoenix. So, point well taken. I'm not a fan of hers either. Um, Buddy AJ says, Dirty Dom is a mid carder at best. He will stay there now in the position of Baron Corbin. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, look, I think to say this, Dominic is probably more over, and you could probably credit a lot of that to just the Rhea Ripley rub, so to speak. But yeah, you know. All right, gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap things up. I know that you guys are still enthusiastic to talk wrestling. I'll take one or two more comments, but I'm getting tired. I mean, CM Punk just put me to fucking sleep with this god awful promo. Seth Rollins went fucking crazy when CM Punk came out. Yeah, but you know what? They were probably informed of all that, buddy. Don't believe the hype. They're just actors in the Broadway show that is WWE. Miz is our MJF. You know, I don't know. I mean, Miz is. It's Miz got eaten by zombies, so he does what he does what they tell him to do. He's a meat puppet, a McMeat puppet, like all the rest of them. Hey, Miz, we're gonna have you get eaten by zombies. Oh, great. So I can't really respect someone like that. Tully Blanchard would not have been eaten by zombies. So I just can't really respect Miz or even give him heel heat respect. I think he's a guy taking a check, going through the motions, happy with his life. Does that make him, don't confuse greatness with tenure, gentlemen. Don't confuse someone having longevity with them being great. Okay, Michael Cole's been the goddamn commentator for 20 years. He still sucks. He just sucks for a long time. Don't confuse being, gainfully employed and being around and being on TV with actually being worth a goddamn hill of shit. Lex Luger is back in WWE. I was surprised to see him on the bump. Yeah, it's interesting. He was kind of persona non grata, I guess, because he's been doing some stuff with Conrad Thompson over on the 83 weeks at ad free shows. Whenever Conrad Thompson gets one of these, derelict old wrestlers, whether it's Bischoff or Bruce Pritchard or whoever, whenever Conrad refurbishes one of these guys, Tony Schiavone, magically the WWE comes a call. And have you noticed that? So I guess they heard a little bit of a buzz that Lex Luger was getting some good ratings for his podcast. He does a monthly podcast with Conrad, and I guess the WWE, God forbid, someone else make $1 in this wrestling business that doesn't involve them. So they had to go and take Luger away from Conrad, and of course Conrad's a good guy. I mean, I do get concerned about him. He looks like his weight's going in the wrong direction. I would guess he's about 425 now. It's hard to tell, but he doesn't look terribly healthy. So I'm pulling for the guy to kind of wake up. I mean, this guy hangs out with all these goddamn wrestling people, and Bischoff's always bragging about his physical shape and how he sleeps 2 hours a day and lives on a mountain and drinks coffee every morning. Well, why doesn't he help old Conrad get in shape? Mikey, I love Steven Richards' YouTube channel. He shows us matches went wrong matches. Yeah, I've been watching those two, buddy. The Steven Richards
I guess we're giving a shout out to everybody now. Steven Richards' YouTube channel. He does the "What Went Wrong" thing. I've watched several of those. I've met Stevie Richards back in the day. Nice guy. Blue World Order. So he's another one of these wrestlers that actually is probably more intelligent and better than a lot of these guys that get pushed. And he talked about that when the Jeff Hardy thing, when Jeff Hardy was drunk in TNA, and then Stevie watched that video. He did one of those Sean Oliver videos and like the worst moments in wrestling. And he basically said, "How come these losers always get all these second chances?" All right, gentlemen, I want to wrap things up. We've been hanging and banging Mean Gene for 45 minutes and whatever seconds. But like all my books, buy my books. Subscribe, share this video if you like. If you don't, that's okay. Like I said, I'm a little tired, but I wanted to state my piece, and I stated my piece. MikeMessier.com. Have a good week, gentlemen.